There we go. We got flames. We're simulating like you've had mud daubers in there, but we use lighter fluid and paper towels. And the fire's out. That quick.
Before the smoke alarm.
Hey guys, Jamie back at you. We're here with Aaron Jones, the mobile RV tech, and he also has a YouTube channel called Jones in the Travel. You've probably seen him in numerous videos on our channel. He helped me do my multi-plus install. He also helped me do my solar install. And we're going to talk a little bit about today is Proteng Fire Suppression. We're here at the Alfa Rally in Bandera, Texas, and Aaron's going to be doing a seminar about Proteng Fire Suppression. And he's also doing some installs and stuff like that. We're going to talk about that because it's going to fit in perfectly with our series about RVing safety.
So this is our first Alfa Rally.
Okay.
Never been to an Alfa Rally before. It's kind of unique. The Alfa coaches are kind of unique. You know, basement air conditioners, and they have a few different things that a lot of the modern coaches, well, it is a modern coach, but some of the newer stuff, they don't have some of the things you have in your Alfa. So it's interesting to me because I get to see different setups and that sort of thing. Get some different experience. Yeah, we do a lot of things to our coaches, right? We add, you know, add a lot of aftermarket stuff, but one thing that we don't think about that we should think about is fire and fire safety. But today I actually helped the Wagon Master do his Proteng install, and Linda came along and did some filming of that. So we've got some clips of us installing those. But we did his refrigerator, we did his diesel engine, and we did his inverter bay. So he's pretty set up now, and he's going to add some tubes later on down the road for some other stuff.
Can you basically go over what Proteng's Fire Suppression does?
Sure, Jamie. So Proteng Fire Suppression basically is a self-contained product. It contains FM200 and it's activated by heat. So as this tube warms up or gets affected by a flame, wherever this tube is the softest is where the chemical is going to be expelled. At a high pressure, it's about 450 psi at that point, and then it literally brings the temperature down in the compartment. So we bring the temperature down to where the fire can't survive, the fire's out, and then we can do cleanup and repair, and then we can install a new tube, and off you go. Okay. So it makes it really simple. It's a life-saving product, it's an asset-saving product, and again, it's 100% self-contained, activated by heat. What you see is what you get. It's amazing. We've saved diesel engine fires, we've saved a water heater fire, so we've definitely got proof that this is what you need.
I mean, initially it wasn't for the RV industry, right? It was for something else.
Originally designed for the race car industry. So the word Proteng, or our product name, basically stands for protect engine. So race car drivers were wrecking, they were getting sick from whatever they were using at the time. And the owner of the race team decided, hey, we need to come up with something that protects our drivers, not only from a safety fire perspective, but from the chemical perspective. This chemical was used in asthma inhalers at a much, much lower concentration, but it's non-toxic at this level, non-corrosive, so it won't hurt your pets. So if you're away and Fifi's in the coach and you have an incident and this takes care of it, the chemical or the after effect of the chemical won't harm Fifi. So so it's good for that too, for kids, us. We can't take the oxygen out of the air because we can't breathe. We can't take away the fuel of the fire because that's your coach. So we take care of the heat. And that's the third leg of the triangle. You take the heat away, the fire's gone.
Say somebody has a fire and one of these goes off. They remove that, clean up the area, then what happens after that?
After that, they would reach out to us. We would make sure that the tube was installed properly and all those sorts of things. This product does come with a 4-year warranty, so if the tube is accidentally activated or for whatever reason it goes off and it shouldn't, then we replace the tube under warranty. If you do have an incident, this saves it, puts it out, then you would have to purchase a new tube for that area, clean up whatever the damage may have been, make some repairs with an RV tech, or sometimes the owners can do that, and then we can come and replace the tube and get them back on the road. In some cases we can work with the person, long distance. In some cases, we professionally install it. We prefer to professionally install it, but in the retube, sometimes we can have a little leeway there.
Okay.
So yeah, but we definitely get them taken care of and get them back to where they're fire safe.
Like we have a Class A motorhome, you have a Class A motorhome. Let's talk about some of the areas this would be beneficial to install.
Sure. So one of the biggest ones is the RV refrigerator. Now, we have a residential refrigerator, and a lot of the coaches do.
Right.
But there's still a lot of coaches out there with the old gas absorption, Never Colds and Dometics. A lot of the Alphas still have those. So that's probably the number one area you want to protect. That's the most dangerous appliance in your RV, is that RV gas electric refrigerator. Short of that, we also protect the diesel engine, your batteries, inverters. So this is the 14-foot long tube that we use to cover diesel engines. And luckily in the Alphas, you've got all this access back here. So instead of crawling under the coach, because we have a rear radiator, it makes it a lot more difficult to get to from the outside. But this is perfect. I can cover the whole engine without having to crawl under the dirt. Go Alpha. If you have lithium batteries, we can double protect those. Your circuit breaker panel inside the coach. So those kind of the high level of different areas, your generator. But when we come to the coach, we do a free safety assessment.
Right.
And we'll go through front to back and show the owner every area we recommend they protect. I'll point out things along the way, like swollen batteries and any other safety items I see,
Right.
No battery in the smoke alarm, that sort of thing. And then we can protect those additional areas if anything's needed, Okay. So I see a lot of times, especially in travel trailers, because they have no storage.
Right.
So the lithium batteries and the inverter and all that's underneath the bed that the folks are sleeping on. So, that's definitely a safety hazard. So
Right.
we'd like to protect underneath that bed, but I've seen all kinds of different installations where we have to do something different to protect them. So
Right.
it's almost every coach's unique type of scenario.
Right, because you had that one guy who he has a YouTube channel, and he bought the used Newell,
Right.
Andrew Steele, and he was driving down the road, and his electrical components underneath the dash caught fire.
Right.
And basically fried the whole coach. They had a few minutes to get out, and they basically got out with their bodies and
went
one
to the
laptop,
ground.
and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, and thank you for reminding me, that's the other area that we protect, especially in a motorized coach, is underneath the dash.
Because one thing that we did when we initially bought the Alfa, we did have a fire extinguisher up in the front, but then when you think about it, if you're in the back of the coach and there's a fire, say at our stove or whatever,
Right.
to get to the front of the coach is going to be virtually impossible because the stove is between us and the back of the coach.
Exactly.
We would basically subject to hit it with the fire extinguisher. Hopefully that put us out. If it doesn't, then we're crawling out the window in the back, because
Right.
we'd never get out the front because the fire would be
Right.
too far gone.
And then when I do my free fire safety seminar, I do that at a lot of the rallies. And what I recommend, normally your RV is going to come with one, maybe two fire extinguishers. A red one and maybe a little tiny white one. We recommend you have 5 fire extinguishers. We want you to have one by your bed. If you need to fight your way to the door, like the scenario you just described. We want you to have one in your kitchen, in your living area, by your door, and then the 5th one we want you to have outside in a compartment that you can grab if your neighbor has an incident or you're out there and something else happens. You can grab that and help out.
Right.
But the RV, after about a minute, your RV fire is going to be too big to control with a
Right.
fire extinguisher. Right.
Right.
So we want to get the fire at its incipient stage, so right at the beginning. And in our refrigerator demonstration, we're about 6.5 seconds from the time the fire starts till the time we extinguish it. Without this, you'd be looking at 20-30 seconds and the fire would be in the roof
Right.
of the coach. And by that, it is too late. I
Yeah.
mean, you just can't do anything about it. But
Right.
but yeah, we recommend you have at least 5 fire extinguishers. The other thing that I like to tell people is to get the foam fire extinguishers, and you can actually spray that foam on your skin. So if you're trying to get from the back to the door and you've got to go through flames, you can literally spray yourself with it and run through it. The other thing that's really great are the fire blankets that they've come out with.
Yeah.
You can throw those on a greasy stove fire. You can wrap it around yourself, and that will help protect you too. And you can have 2 or 3 of those around just handy, so you can grab one, throw it over the dog, or whatever you need to do, to get everybody out safely.
Right. So, Aaron, can you go over some of the safety tips, some good safety tips, just for traveling around in an RV, even if you don't have Proteng? What are some good tips?
Sure. Yeah, so one of the biggest ones that I see people do is drive with the propane on.
Right.
I know that a lot of the smaller RV refrigerators don't cool like you get cool at home, right, in your residential fridge, but it's critical to prevent that propane from blowing the flame out, leaking. I mean, there could be all kinds of other issues. I've even seen RVs on the side of the road burning, and it was because the propane was on, and somehow it caught the side of the coach, and up it went. And when you're traveling down the road and an incident happens, you've got all that air just stoking the fire, and it burns down even quicker. So,
Right.
so that's a big thing that I see. The other thing is just to be prepared. You know, when you go to an RV park, especially a new one you've not been to before, and a lot
Right.
of us go to new ones a lot,
Yeah.
right? Find out where if they have one, find out where the storm shelters are, find out, you know, where a good meeting place is. It doesn't have to be an RV fire. It could be a hailstorm, a tornado, a hurricane. It could be any, you know, natural disaster.
Right.
So just make sure when you get there, you're aware of where things are. Make sure everyone with you, your kids, your spouse, everyone's with you. Make sure they know where you're going to go meet when something happens.
Right.
You know, it's basic stuff, but it's just stuff we don't think about when we're out traveling, vacationing, having a good time. So, you know, just be aware and aware of your surroundings, and
Okay.
that'll get you a long way. Yeah. And another thing, Jamie, I forgot to mention, is to have a bug out bag or a bug out bucket of some type with items in it that can hold you over for at least 24 hours.
Okay.
If you're out boondocking somewhere, especially as busy as our first responders are today, if you're out boondocking somewhere, you might not get someone to respond, or it may be days before someone can get to you. So make sure you have, you know, the essentials, you know, your medications, your IDs, have a gift card with $100 on it in there, so you have some money to make phone calls, that sort of thing.
Right.
One thing that I tell folks, a lot of people don't realize that an old charged cell phone without a plan can dial 911. So get an old Nokia phone or a flip phone or something, keep it charged, keep it in your bag, and that way when you've left your cell phone and your wallet and your keys and all that on the dresser and the coach is burnt to the ground, you still have a phone, you can call 911, you can, you know, get help that way. So
Yeah.
that's an excellent thing to have available, just an old cell phone that's charged.
Okay. Proteng isn't just for RVs only. It can be used in other situations as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We're in practically every industry. We can go anywhere where the heat isn't a factor, doesn't prematurely cause this thing to go off.
Right.
You know, and as long as that's not a factor, we're pretty universal. You know, self-contained. There's nothing to hook up. We don't need any power or anything. So.
And there's people that they've bought those balls off of Amazon, and they've also bought some tubes like this and installed them themselves.
Yeah.
But they're not professionally trained to
Right.
install those. And you know, can you tell us, you know, how some of those things have actually not worked out, where DIYers have done that? And
Yeah, so I know with the ball, it's basically designed to throw in a burning trash can or something like that. I don't know a lot about those, but I do know that they've got the powder in them, just like the red fire extinguishers.
Right.
So they're going to be corrosive and toxic and that sort of thing. Not to mention you have to be there to actually use the thing and make it work.
Right.
With this product, does it all on its own, self-contained, right?
Right.
I'm not really all that familiar with some of the other knockoff brands that are out there. I can tell you that these are made in Florida, so they're 100% American made. And I know most of the knockoffs are, you know, Chinese or whatever, you know, they're from overseas.
Right.
But, you know, I stand behind this product because I know where it's made. I've seen where it's made. I've seen the machinery that's used, you know,
Right.
and it's all made inside a machine. It's brass on the end, so it's a high quality product, and it's not going to fail on you, and it's going to be ready when you need it.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, I'm talking more toward the RV world, but we start out with a tube about this big, and I have 10 variations between that and 15 feet long.
Right.
So I have a lot of options of how I can protect a coach. You know, like in our coach, our entire underneath basement's got one tube in it, and it goes from the front of the coach to the back of the coach. So depending on how the coach is built and designed, and how the compartments are, you know, we can do a lot with, you know, less material.
Right.
And you know, the cost of this is based on the chemical amount of the chemical inside. The length of the tube is been engineered specifically for certain cubic feet of an area, so like a 4 cubic foot area or what have you.
Right.
So that's how we have to size them when we do the installs.
Right.
And yeah, they just work.
And that's exactly where the knowledge comes in, of knowing,
Right.
okay, I need this size tube for this many square area.
Right.
Where a DIYer doesn't know that. They just figure,
That's
oh, well,
true.
my box is this big and I can put this thing in there, it fits.
Right.
But might necessarily not be the right size for that area.
Well, and the other thing is risk too, right? If I install this and something happens, then I'm insured, I'm covered, we're set up for that. If the end user installs this and it doesn't work and they lose their coach, I mean it's just not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth saving $100 or whatever it is to do this yourself when it could be professionally installed. The professional installation comes with a 4-year warranty. If you install it yourself, 0 warranty because of that risk.
Right.
It's just too much risk for both of us,
right.
For you to do it. So
right.
That's the main reason we professionally install them. The other thing, like diesel engines, for example, we have to stay away from the turbo because it gets too hot. So there's certain areas in the vehicle that we have to install these properly, or we risk
right.
wasting the tube. The important part is when you need it to get you up and get you out of the coach and save your life, you want to make sure it's going to work correctly. I had to be trained. I had to do 10 installs before I got signed off. So
right.
So yeah, and I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, I believe.
So let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. What's the average cost of the system?
So the system, like I mentioned before, it's going to be determined on your coach, how many compartments we need to protect, how long it is, all that different kind of thing. It could be a few $100s and it could be much higher. It just just depends. And that's the other reason we do the free assessment, nose to tail. That way we can give you the numbers, you can make an educated decision, exactly what your coach is going to need.
Right.
And then we go from there. So I'll wrap it like this, and then up there by the fan, I'll turn it and come back.
Okay.
To stay away from that, and then I'll come back this way.
Okay.
Tina and I, we travel full time. This is what we do for a living. So we do 20 rallies a year, and we're always traveling back and forth. I haven't done installations in rest areas before on the highway.
Right.
So if this is something that you guys are interested in, or your viewers are interested in, just have them reach out to me. The chemical price changes, so it may be different 3 or 4 months from now than it is today. So reach out. We can coordinate the logistics to get with you. I've got a few other guys that can help with installs, so we can make it happen. But
okay.
We'll just have to know where you're at and what type of coach you have and that sort of thing. And then we can go from there. It's United States only for us, but we do have someone in Canada that does them. If you're from Canada and you want this, reach out to me and I can get you in touch with the person that we have in Canada that can help you out.
So, Aaron, I really appreciate you taking the time.
No problem, man.
To talk about Proteng. I think it's really going to help our viewers. And also it fits in really well with this series we're talking about with Safe RV. Right.
So, if anybody has any questions, reach out directly to us. I have no problem with that, and we can talk about fire safety all day.
And what we're going to do is we're going to put links down in the description. One for Aaron's mobile RV tech and all the Proteng information, but we're also going to put a link down there to his YouTube channel, Jones and the Travel.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey roamers, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Roaming with Rosie. For more information regarding this video, please check out the links in the video description below.
as well as products and equipment we use and recommend. We sometimes do receive a small commission when you use our links for purchases, which is a great way at no additional cost to you to help offset some of our production costs. Thank you so much for watching and sharing our videos and subscribing to Roaming with Rosie. We'd love to hear from you and encourage your comments and questions. Until next time, see ya!